Common Room, the great thing about the platform is you can do a 14-day free trial directly on our website. You can sign up with like a Gmail account, for example. Once you go into settings, there's going to be a ton of signals you can set up. If you want to run this play, it's going to be through our Chrome extension for LinkedIn. So you would literally just click get access and you are good to go. I'm going to go on LinkedIn. A few best practices. The first play that we're going to run is going to be the socially engaged ecosystem thought leader play. Now, for this example, I'm going to pretend that I'm selling some form of like a digital sales room. Shout out to my buddy Saad from Aligned. I just decided to use you as an example here. I also have examples from Common Room ourselves, but I wanted to change it up so that you're not just seeing it from one company's perspective. So if I'm a digital sales room, like Aligned, I need to figure out posts that are related to topics that I know we can solve for, right? Now, a digital sales room, for example, can help with mutual success plans. So one thing that I usually recommend when you're searching for posts is to type in a specific keywords in brackets. And then if you're going to run the thought leader or creator play, I would put an and operator here and then type in the name of the creator that usually has content related to what you can solve for, right? So let's run this. What I'm going to do now is filter for posts. And then I told you all before, speed to lead is going to be super important. So typically within the last 24 hours is great, but you also might just want to see like what, for more options, like what's happened in the last month overall. And this is kind of the key part to make sure that the messaging is very relevant. So what you want to do is actually find posts that you think are going to be easy to spin up into or tie the context of your solution. So one post that we found here from Brian, for example, he's talking a lot about pilots, executive alignment, success criteria, mutual action plans, which is the keywords that we searched for. And I can see here that this actually has a pretty good amount of engagement. 740 likes, 143 comments, some reshares. So if I'm confident that I could use this to run a socially engaged play, what I'm going to do is pull up the Chrome extension that we've developed here. And then we can put this into a very specific play or what we call segments at Common Room. So in this case, I'm going to put this into what's called our ecosystem play. So again, this is for thought leaders. And then I'm going to refresh that post or add the post into Common Room. Now, nothing revolutionary here yet, but this is where Common Room really helps you run this play at scale. Now, before we go into Common Room, I'm going to go through a second play here, which is going to be the competitive one, right? So in this scenario, let's say I'm Common Room, and I'm going to, let's say I decide that a company like 6sense, I'm not here to pick on any type of competitors, but they're a little bit adjacent to us. We believe like maybe we can consolidate or kind of like replace at least part of the use cases that they have and do a lot more. And we have a good message that we can come up with for a competitive play. One thing that we do quite well is we'll actually find employees at a competitor that have a lot of engagement on LinkedIn, and then do something similar where I search across a post. So at 6sense, I have, there's somebody called Kat. I don't know if Kat's on this demo or not. That would be pretty funny. And again, I'm big fans of 6sense, but just showing you all an example here. Again, I'm going to use an and operator. I'm going to run a filter for posts. I'm going to do posts in the last month. And I'm going to scroll through to see, are there any solid posts that we can actually leverage in our messaging and really tie in some nice context? So I did come across a post here from Kat where she talks about like consolidation of tech, actually talks about third-party intent data enrichment. And I think that this is something that we can spin up and actually extract the engagement from a competitor and use it ourselves. So I'm going to do something very similar here. Add the post. This time I'm going to put it into other specific segment or play that we call competitive. So the messaging is going to be very different, and I'm actually going to show you what that messaging looks like, add it into Comment Room. Now, this is where the fun part begins. This is where the magic happens, as you will say. So going back to Brian's post, let's pretend I'm at Aligned, right? I'm running a thought leader play. What you're going to notice is that we extracted everybody we could from that post into Comment Room. And I want to direct your attention to a few things. One, we have waterfall enrichment directly in Comment Room. So if I go to someone like Calvin in this case, I will see their personal emails, company emails, their phone numbers, their LinkedIn profile. Because we also unify a ton of different signals like web visits and social engagement, we could also see that this person has actually visited our website. And I'm going to get into like what stacking signals is all about as well. But so that's one. We automatically enrich those contacts. Two, you can actually build lead scoring into the platform. So I can see here for someone like Calvin, because we're unifying all those signals, this is an excellent lead score. We have their organization, their email. We know that they're the head of GTM. They have some activity across different signals that we're tracking. They've been to our demo page. They've been on our website. They've submitted a HubSpot form. Now, these lead scores are fully customizable to how you want to set it up. But I know who to prioritize based off of that lead score. And now we can go even deeper with various filters here to actually segment to people that are in our ICP. So one of the first things that I'm going to do, because we have 438 people, they're probably not all good fits, I'm going to search for economic buyers. So that's a built-in tag that we have for people above the power line. So you can see here that filtered down to 96 people above the power line that interacted with Brian's post, right? The next thing I'm going to do is probably going to search tech stack. If I think I can replace 6sense, I want to see who from Brian's post uses 6sense. So it's actually only 5 people. So maybe for these 5 people, I'm going to run a very hyper-specific play that mentions 6sense and the fact that they also interacted with that specific post about mutual success plans or whatever, right? The other thing you can do is stacking signals. We talk about this a lot, and I think this is really the main power of Comment Room. So I want to see everyone that's interacted with Brian's post that has also been on our website. Now that's a much more high intent lead than just someone that interacted off Brian's post. If those people might not even know what Aligned is, for example, right? So I think you've seen here now with like these filters, just how deep you can go into actually segmenting this list to build very hyper specific messaging. And we can do the exact same thing for Kat's post as well. Now, a few things to go over back into the deck here. So a very important note as we come to messaging, because at the end of the day, that's what really matters and what the prospect sees. Too many people make this mistake. The fact that someone is reacting to a post is not your only reason for reaching out. You need to have a compelling reason and do more research across other signals. So here's an email framework, and I'm going to show you some examples that we use. So if any of you have taken my copywriting course, you know I really like this like 4-step email template. I also use a PS sometimes, and obviously you can mold this to different situations. But typically speaking, when we reach out to somebody in a socially engaged play, sentence number 1 is going to be the observation based off of a LinkedIn post. So calling out the exact post. The second thing we're going to do is do additional research, usually at the company level, to find a compelling reason as to why we're reaching out to not just the person, but the actual company or organization as well. And this is where we're going to tie the context from the post to the signal from the company, okay? Then we're going to go into the ideal state with social proof. So what can Comment Room actually do for you and prove it? Light call to actions, you know, I love those. And then we always use the PS for any extra personalization that we can find if it's difficult to tie into the actual body of the email, okay? So let's go into a few examples here. It looks like I put an animation here by accident. Sorry about that. So this is as if I was Aligned. Remember, this is the ecosystem play from Brian's post. So stumbled upon your comment on Brian Lamanda's post on LinkedIn today where he mentioned the 4 factors that led to his 90% win rate on pilots. Love his content. So we're calling out the actual topic of the post because it's important in the next sentence. Then we are going to do extra research. So notice that they're hiring AEs from our job listing signal in the enterprise specifically. And this is tying the context to the sentence that's going to then be the ideal state, right? So it seems like you're moving up market and relying on mutual success plans and multiple stakeholders to win deals. Now, here's how Deal is actually using us to uncover more stakeholders and decrease their sales cycle. And then we're going to finish off with a spin on a call to action here where is this something? And then we're going to call out 1 or 2 AEs from their team that they could improve on just to make that really real and show that it's not an automated message. And then Saad gave me this inspiration where he actually takes screenshots of customers mentioning that they love Aligned and putting that in the PS. So you can see here, we're not just calling out the fact that they engage with Brian, we're tying that into a good reason for reaching out based off of something that's happening in their business. This is what I call a relevant email. It's personalized. AI cannot do this today. So you have a much higher likelihood of getting a response with this. That's number 1. Number 2, this is the socially engaged ecosystem, again, thought leader, meta play. Now, there's a caveat here. Not everyone can run this play. This play only works if you can actually show them your solution in action as you're running the play itself. We use this because when we do a socially engaged play, we're actually selling the play and common room to our prospects. So here's the template. Again, this is more of like an educating type of sequence here and showing them like, hey, we're actually running this play on you. Is this something that you'd like to do with your team? So Barrett on my team ran this recently. We had a CRO that obviously gave him some praise and introduced him to somebody else on the team. So some social proof there. This play is really working for us quite well.